Hi everybody and welcome back to English for You. I'm Pat.
And I'm Mike.
And we're on day 2 of our article with the main idea being film photography, well that's photographs on film, not digital, is making a comeback.
That's right. It's suddenly popular again, an old technology that you might have thought is only found in museums. No, lots of people are doing it, and many young people especially are the ones most interested in this. Why? Well, we learned yesterday that the people who are doing this film photography these days, they like the warm feeling of this analog technology. Instead of all the options and all the different, filters and all that kind of stuff with digital technology. Sure, you can take pictures on your phone and you can change them in 1,000 different ways, but it all feels a little artificial, whereas with old film photography, everything is analog. You're actually controlling everything yourself without having a computer sort of make decisions for you. Now, film photography requires very different equipment, and it is more complicated and possibly even more expensive. It requires film that's loaded into a camera. So we're not talking about a digital camera with a memory card. We're talking about film. And each roll of film doesn't get you many pictures. It says you get 24 or 36 exposures per film, sometimes even 12 with very special film. So you need to think carefully before you press that button to take the picture. And once you've taken the picture, seeing the picture is a whole other step.
Right, the film needs to be processed before people can see the images, has to be developed with chemicals and so on. It can be sent to you as a digital file, but you still need to wait. And people like that anticipation. Oh, I took a photo, but now I'm really excited to see how it looks. And just in the same way that modern digital technology can change things with filters, old style cameras can change things in the way they look by using different types of film, by using actual physical filters that change the way the light or the color interacts. And people just feel the analog older technology is superior and digital technology is inferior.
Absolutely.
But let's learn more today by reading part 2 of our article about film photography.
Reading. Film photography is back in fashion. According to Adam Xu, owner of Taipei-based film shop Film Uncle, Instagram influencers might be to thank for film photography's renewed popularity. They like the cool look of film, and their followers want that too. Adam believes that film photography won't be around forever, though. There are only 2 major color film brands left, Kodak and Fujifilm, and each year they produce less film. So he advises people to try film photography now before it disappears. Film photography might seem like an expensive hobby because photographers must buy rolls of film. However, the cameras are cheaper than digital cameras, and for those on a budget, there are ways to make it cheaper still. Adam recommends trying special cinema film because it's usually less expensive than big brand film. Cinema film is designed for movie production, so it has a very cinematic style. Adam also says that a roll of film is still no more expensive than coffee or dinner with your friends. So those who want to try film photography could replace one meal out a month with one roll. And for those who are concerned about taking the plunge, he says, don't hesitate, just try it.
All right, so let's check out our article. We're going to get some good advice from someone who knows a lot about film photography. We read, according to Adam Xu, owner of Taipei-based film shop Film Uncle, Instagram influencers might be to thank for film photography's renewed popularity. Well, isn't that interesting? People who got famous by doing digital photography are now discovering the joys of analog or film photography. But a lot of people in the world might know these folks not from their great picture shows at famous museums and galleries, but by being influencers on Instagram. What is an influencer? Basically, it's someone who's very popular, very well known, kind of a star these days. But they didn't become a star by having a hit record or appearing in a movie or TV show. They became a star by being on social media, having a lot of followers, having a lot of people sort of be interested and pay attention to what they do, and they put up videos or photographs. They have their own YouTube or Twitch shows, bloggers, people like that. So basically, they're using their fame on the internet, on social media, to attract fans and often to sell things or to guide fans to things that they use or like or want them to buy.
And it's thanks to these people that Instagram or that film photography is getting popular. When we say thanks somebody for something, this could directly express gratitude and say, oh, thank you, Mike, for helping me with this piece of work.
Problem.
But you can also use it to show who is responsible for a particular outcome. It's because of them or it's thanks to them that this thing is happening. And here we're talking about a renewed interest. Renewed means it's returning after an absence. It was popular or interesting before. Maybe then its levels of being popular lowered, but now it's coming back. So it's not completely new. That's why we say renewed. It's come back again after it's been away. Another word we could use is revived, R-E-V-I-V-E-D. It's come back again after a period of less, either not being popular, not being around, not being in fashion, or whatever. But the thing that has been renewed is the popularity of film.
That's right. And when we use popularity as a noun here, we're just talking about how popular something or someone is. Popular would be the adjective, talk about a popular song, a popular place, a popular movie star. So if that famous and much loved song or place or movie star, if we're talking about how well known it is, how famous it is, we're talking about its popularity. For example, in the 1940s and early 50s, jazz was at the height of its popularity. It's still popular now, but not as popular as it was before, when its popularity was unsurpassed.
So what we learn is these Instagram influencers, they like the cool look of film and their followers want that too. That's the whole idea of being an influencer. You influence people and kind of affect their decisions. Here we're talking about followers, and in social media terms, a follower is somebody who is basically signed up to receive information from an account. You've clicked like, you've clicked subscribe, you've clicked follow, something like that at all. The word exactly depends on which social media site you use, but you're a fan, you're an interested person in this Instagram star, in this YouTube account, in this person who makes videos, this group, whatever it happens to be, you are following them to see what they do next and receive all their new videos and photos.
All right, so you can't argue with the popularity of film photography. These days, Instagram influencers have made it very hot, very popular. But back to our friend Adam from the Film Uncle Film Store, our camera store here in Taiwan. It says, Adam believes that film photography won't be around forever, though. So Adam's kind of thinking that this film photography popularity is kind of a trend. It's kind of a fad. It's one of those things that's popular maybe for a couple of years, but then people go, oh, it does take time and money, and oh, my camera is so convenient. Or they'll just discover something new to kind of have fun with and play with and turn into a hobby. So film's popularity or film photography's popularity won't be around forever. Forever being for all time. So now it's popular in the year 2020, 2022, 23. But maybe if we jump forward to the year 2045, will people still be doing film photography? Maybe not. I don't know if you can do it in the metaverse where we'll all be living then. But basically he's kind of saying in a few years from now, it might be less popular or something like that. It won't be popular for the future, for many, many years into the future or forever. For example, Adam promised to love and cherish his wife forever. That was nice.
Okay.
It was a nice wedding.
Yeah.
It was.
Now, one reason why it might not be popular, film photography, and stay around forever is because you need to actually take it on film.
True.
Which means someone needs to make the film.
Also true.
And they maybe also need to make money making the film. And if they can't do that, then they go away.
They have to sell a lot of film to make it sort of worthwhile to produce the film. Right?
That's why we see in the article there are only 2 major color film brands left. So there are various other small companies that make the film, but only 2 big ones. And we see in the article Kodak, I'm sure you've heard of them,
from
and
America.
Fujifilm.
Japan.
Okay. And each year they produce less film. So they're not making as much before. They think, okay, this business is still making us a little bit of money, but it's starting to go down. We don't need to make as much and we don't sell as much.
That's true. I mean, vinyl records, as we learned yesterday, they're still making those, but they're much more expensive now than they were because people don't mind. But if you're using a roll of film, I don't know how much you can charge people because it still only has 24 pictures or 36 pictures, so you can't make it too expensive. So what does Adam recommend? So he advises people to try film photography now before it disappears. And maybe if you have the money, buy yourself a small box of those rolls of film because you don't know how long they'll be making them for. Now, Adam, of course, is a guy who owns his own camera shop. He's got a lot of knowledge and experience in the world of photography and camera technology. So when he advises that we try it now, we should probably listen to his suggestion. Because if someone advises you to do something, especially someone like Adam who knows a lot about what he's talking about, yeah, it's a good idea to listen, because to advise is to give advice to give a suggestion to. When you go to a friend and you're a little confused and you're not quite sure what to do in this situation, you go to your friend and goes, well, here's my problem. What do you think I should do? Should I do it this way or should I do it that way? You are asking that friend to advise you. Now notice here, we're saying it's a verb, right? Your friend is advising you. It's with an S. Now if we talk about what they're saying, that little suggestion, that little idea they're giving you, that is the noun form advice. And that would be A-D-V-I-C-E. So when you give advice, you're giving a suggestion, you are advising, you are suggesting or giving your best idea or your recommendation to a friend who's looking for a little bit of help. For example, Petula's doctor advised her to get her blood tested. He kind of said, well, if I was you and you're feeling kind of sick all the time, I think you should get your blood tested. Hopefully, Petula will follow her doctor's advice.
So yeah, if the films aren't going to be around forever, if these companies won't make them, and maybe they'll go, well, we'll make it, but we got to charge a bit more for it. So yeah, it's not cheap, and so do it now before you run out of an opportunity to do so. And as you might expect, film photography might seem like an expensive hobby because photographers must buy rolls of film.
That's right.
Yeah, digital camera, you just take, and it's full. All right, I'll download some, delete some, and I go again. It's free, except for the time I spend.
And also for the power that's in your phone. But that's easy. You just plug your phone in, you're ready to shoot.
Exactly. So that might make film photography seem expensive, but it's maybe not as expensive as you might think.
That's right, because remember, those rolls of film are only one part of the equipment you need to do film photography. The other big part, of course, is the camera. However, the article says the cameras, that's the old film photography cameras, are cheaper than digital cameras. Sure, because digital cameras are new. Most of the film cameras you might get are old or used secondhand, things like that. And for those on a budget, there are ways to make it cheaper still. So if you're on a budget, basically if you don't have a lot of extra money to spend on a fancy new hobby, you can actually do film photography for quite a low price, as we're going to explain. But first we have to talk about this word budget. What is a budget? Here we're using it as a noun. You could use it as a verb, but a budget is basically an amount of money that a person or an organization, like a company or something like that, has to spend on something. So you have plans for the future, things you want to spend your money on, things you want to buy. but you want to make sure that you have enough. So you make this budget saying, we make this much, we have to spend this much, so we can save this much. And once you look at the budget, you can decide, can we buy that house, buy that car, go on that expensive holiday? If your budget says you will have enough money, maybe even extra, no problem. If your budget says, no, don't do that, you're going to run out of money fast if you spend that extra money, then your budget will not allow you to do what you want. But basically, it's your financial health, your financial plan, that is your budget. For example, Seymour likes to make a budget every month so that he can keep track of his spending. The money that he makes at his job and other places, that's one side. The money that he spends on food and rent and entertainment, that's the other side. That way, he knows how much money is going in and coming out.
And when we use the phrase on a budget, that usually means you've only got a limited amount to spend.
Students live on a budget.
Yes, you're watching what you spend your money on. You don't just go, oh, I want that, I'll get it. You have to think.
Doesn't matter.
So what are these ways you can make your film photography hobby cheaper? Well, the article goes back to our man Adam, and we see Adam recommends trying special cinema film because it's usually less expensive than big brand film, the Fujifilm, the Kodak. Why not get some stuff that's used for cinema? That's a good idea.
That's true. You might have to go to a special store, but if you can do that, you could save yourself a lot of money over the course of your hobby life.
So we've already looked at the word advise, to give someone advice. Here we've got a very similar word, the verb recommend. To recommend is to suggest something that you think, or in your experience, is a good idea. It's basically the same as suggest, but you could often recommend a thing, a person. I recommend this restaurant because I've eaten there before and it's good. We often follow this verb with the V-ing form of another verb. I recommend doing this. I recommend buying cinema film because it's cheaper. I recommend getting a second-hand camera because you can save money. All of these are used to give suggestions that you think will work. And in this case, Adam is recommending that people interested in film photography buy cinema film.
Interesting. This is probably the proper name for this type of film. I guess you wouldn't call it movie film or film. Because cinema is basically movies or film. When we say I'm going to the cinema, we're talking about the movie theater. If you say I'm really into cinema, that's my favorite style of art, you're really into movies and movie making, movie writing, anything to do with movies. We can often use this word cinema, and it makes it different from theater or something like that. Plus, I think it's also fancier than movies, right? You go to the cinema to see a European art film. You go to the movie theater to watch Marvel and eat popcorn.
Yeah.
Some people might think of it that way, but really, we're talking about it being a style of art that's different from painting or dance or music. Cinema is the art of making films. For example, Wanda always dreamed of having a career in cinema. Now, she could be wanting to be a star, a director, a producer, a writer, who knows, but she wants to be in the film business.
Right. So why get cinema film? Well, the article says cinema film is designed for movie production. Okay, that's where its name is from. So it has a very cinematic style. So we saw the word cinema, and if you want to take that word and turn it into an adjective, you just add TIC and make it cinematic. Cinematic means of a style that looks like a movie. It looks like it has qualities related to movies. If you look at photos, you'll think, whoa, this looks like a movie shot. Something to do with the effects, the lighting, the quality of the film. You think, oh, it kind of looks like a movie thing. We could also talk about cinematic music, the kind of music that seems like it should be a film score, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Adam also says that a roll of film is still no more expensive than coffee or dinner with your friends. That's true. It's a bit more expensive than digital film, using your camera, for example. But really, a roll of film, either the cinematic kind or the Fujifilm, Kodak kind, it's not that expensive. expensive. It's no more expensive than coffee or dinner with your friends. Here's 2 examples of things that a roll of film is not much more around the same price as coffee or dinner with your friends. So really, fairly affordable.
Okay, so there's a logical idea there for you. Go, I can make a choice. Do I go out for dinner with my friends tonight, or I say, hey guys, can we have something cheaper? Maybe I'll see you next week. And instead, I've saved that money from my budget, if we used that word earlier, and buy film. The article explains. So, those who want to try film photography could replace 1 meal out a month with 1 roll.
That's a good idea. Or bring your camera and just take pictures of your friends as they eat dinner.
Yeah.
So you can pay for the film, they can pay for the food, and then they pay you for the wonderful pictures you took of them eating steak.
Yeah, why not?
There you go. And for those who are concerned about taking the plunge, he says, this is Adam, he says, don't hesitate, just try it. He's kind of like, don't worry about it, don't think too much about it. It's a new hobby. It doesn't require a lot of change or things in your life, so don't worry about it or don't hesitate. Don't wait too long. Take the plunge now and get into it. When we talk about taking the plunge, this idiom basically means just go ahead and try it. Stop thinking about it. Stop worrying about it. Stop going, I don't know. I need to do more research. No, be brave and take the plunge. To plunge is basically to jump. So it's kind of like just jump in the water. Don't worry about how hot or cold the swimming pool is. Just be brave. Try it out. You'll probably like it.
And in that case, you wouldn't want to hesitate.
No.
To hesitate means to not take the plunge, really, to pause.
Oh, no.
Because you're worried, you haven't got confidence, you're a bit not sure about the outcome. Is this going to work or is this going to not work? Am I going to enjoy it or not? That is hesitating, just stopping for a second rather than going straight ahead. So somebody might tell you in a particular kind of activity, when you are on the bridge and ready to go, don't hesitate, just hold out your arms, jump off and yell, bungee!
There you go. Be brave, try it out.
Yep, jump off a bridge with a big elastic band on your leg.
I'll be taking pictures.
Okay, I'll jump, it's fun for me.
Cool.
But that's it, we are out of time, almost. We're now going to go to today's For You Chat question.
You chat.
So the chat question is nice and simple. Would you like to try film photography? Why or why not?
Sure, I have.
Yeah.
I have a camera at home. I haven't used it in many years.
Right.
The article has made me maybe think about trying film photography again after many years. I think it's a lot of fun. It's a little bit more challenging because if you want to improve, you really need to sort of record what you're doing oftentimes, right? You take the picture in a certain way with a certain light at a certain time of day, and then you take the film to be processed. By the time you get it back, you're like, wow, that's a great picture. How did I do that? So you do have to sort of learn from it a little bit more, but it makes it a much more interesting and much more fulfilling hobby because you can really improve by becoming better at it and not just by using more complicated or expensive digital filters.
Yeah. Like Mike, I grew up using regular film photography because that's all there was. Right. You just go take a picture, go and fill it out. To be honest, I probably would not want to go back to those days, just simply because I haven't got the time to set up a nice photo and take it. If I'm often in the point where it's like, oh, I want to take this photo very quickly now and check if it's okay, rather than find out whether it was okay and I should have taken a second one a month later. I just don't kind of have the time and I'm not interested in taking those kind of photos. So yeah, I remember taking films and it was kind of fun seeing how your holiday pictures had come out and stuff, but then you'd always get like 2 or 3 from that 24. It was, oh, my thumb was on the camera, it was in the way. Right. You ruin an entire exposure because your thumb was in the wrong place. With a phone or a digital camera, oh, stupid phone, move your thumb, try again. It's a lot more convenient. But that's me, that's Mike. What about you guys? Would you like to give it a try? Why or why not? That's all the time we've got. We'll see you again soon. For English for You, I'm Pat.
And I'm Mike.
We'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Take care.
Vocabulary Review.
Popularity. The popularity of social media has been increasing over time, and almost everyone is using it now. Forever. It's important to spend time with the people we love because they won't be here forever. Advise. Darlene had some problems with her project, but the teacher advised her on how to finish it. Budget. Maggie wants to buy a car, but her budget is quite small, at only $3,000. Cinema. Jack is arguing with his friend about the best movie to use as an example of Japanese cinema. Hesitate. Even though the house was very expensive, Tina didn't hesitate to buy it because she really wanted it.
智慧小补帖
Renewed. Recommend. Take the plunge.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net